So I'm going to introduce Tiffany in just a second to do our legislative update for this week. But one thing I want to remind you all about as we're jumping in, this was a really big week because the child tax credit dropped this week. So that was yesterday, July 15th. Parents started getting monthly payments to their bank accounts for the child tax credit. And for every child under 6, parents are getting $300 a month. For every child over 6, they're getting $250 a month. As we have crowed about many times on these updates, these are just transformative payments for low-income families. Every family earning up to $150,000 a year is eligible. For single parent families, I believe it's $75,000 a year is the income cap. So what we wanted to lift up is that for families who are so low income that they may not file taxes, those families are at risk of missing out on these payments. Hopefully everybody already knows that and you're doing outreach in your community. But if not, we want to share some resources with you so that you can let families know how to find this. So I'm dropping a link into the chat. We put out a blog this week on 3 ways that you can share this information with families. We have some flyers from the IRS that you can share and a whole social media toolkit. So help us put the word out about this because, for a lot of families, this is going to mean the difference between rent and groceries and buying their kids new shoes for the school year. So make sure that the families you work with know about these payments. And I think that is all I have. Tiffany's going to share the legislative update. And then at the end, if anybody wants to share an announcement, please do. And we should wrap up in 30 minutes or less today. And so with that, I will introduce our policy director, Tiffany Gladney, for the latest happenings from Jones Street this week.
Happy Friday, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. So as many of you know, we are still very much on House budget proposal watch. And we did not get it this week, but now there is a lot of speculation, and Speaker Moore and also Representative Jason Sain have both alluded to a deadline of August for the House budget proposal to come out. So stay tuned for details on that. However, it was still a very exciting and dramatic week on Jones Street. Everything from a really controversial energy bill to a debate about critical race theory and whether or not it should be taught in schools. However, here's a quick update on the bills that we're tracking. And of course, you can always get updates on our legislative tracker on our website. So we'll make sure you guys have that link as well. So on the health forefront, Senate Bill 146, which focuses on teledentistry and local anesthetics, this bill has several dentistry regulations and best practices that would be revised, including establishing a teledentistry standard, multiple standards actually, allowing dental hygienists to administer local anesthetics while under the direct supervision of a licensed dentist, and add the ECU School of Dental Medicine to the North Carolina Caring Dental Professionals Board. This bill successfully passed the House Wednesday of this week, and is now on its way back to the Senate for a concurrence vote. It had initially passed the Senate, but the House tweaked it a little bit, so they just have to agree on the same language. So it's headed back to the Senate now. On the juvenile justice forefront, we saw Senate Bill 300, the Criminal Justice Reform Act, which seeks to make several changes to the criminal code and increase law enforcement standardization and oversight. So some of the most notable changes include the creation of a database for law enforcement officers who have received disciplinary actions, require mental health and wellness strategy training for officers, and also allow healthcare providers to transport patients undergoing an involuntary commitment. Senate Bill 300 received a favorable report in the House Judiciary 2 Committee Wednesday and is now on its way to the House Rules Committee. And in that same vein, Senate Bill 301, expand expunction eligibility, say that 3 times fast, which seeks to expand the eligibility for criminal offense forgiveness and that would include up to 3 nonviolent felonies can be expunged. It would allow an attorney to request expunction on behalf of a minor, and also allow the district attorney to have access to expunction records for determining conditional discharge eligibility. So this bill passed out of House Judiciary 2 on Wednesday and is now also headed to House Rules. And Fawn mentioned that this week, many parents across the nation saw the child tax credit payments being deposited into their accounts. So we're very excited about this, but also understand that this tax credit could cut in half child poverty in the United States, but only if parents can actually get that money and break through those real barriers. So for more information, you can check out our blog on our website, or of course, visit irs.gov. So with that, Fawn, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Tiffany. So I just dropped the link again into the chat to find our instructions on how to help make sure families don't miss out on the child tax credit. So that link is there, and it's got, like I said, social media toolkit, flyers that you can print and share with families. If you're serving low-income families, please make sure they know about this money. We do not want anyone to miss out because it really is life-changing. So that is it for our legislative update this week, guys. It was short and sweet. If you have any questions, I'll give you a minute to go ahead and drop them into the chat. Also want to give a shout out to our friends at the Early Education Coalition, who did a great lobby day this week on early education. I think had a lot of great meetings with legislators. And then as far as a preview, Tiffany mentioned that we're expecting to see the House budget come out in August, and we expect to see some committee meetings next week, but the last week of July, lots of legislators will be out of town for the American Legislative Exchange Council conference. The Republicans will all be out of town for that, so we're not going to see a lot happening that last week in July. So I'm dropping the link again for the child tax credit blog. Hopefully that's popping up there for you in the chat. And we'll send it out again in the email that we send as a follow-up today to this call. So I think we have a question from Philip. Yes, the child tax credit, it is ongoing. It's going to be ongoing through the rest of this year. So up to $300 per child. So for younger kids, it's $300 a month. For older, for younger kids, it's $300 a month. For older kids, it's $250 a month, kids over 6. And I think about 90% of North Carolina families are eligible for this money. It's just the highest income earners who are not eligible. So everyone else will be getting these payments automatically if they filed a tax return with the IRS. If they're so low income that they have not filed a tax return and they also haven't signed up for a stimulus check through that IRS portal, then they actually have to go to the IRS website and sign up to get the payments. But when they do, they will get these payments every single month through the end of the year. And so the total that it adds up to is $3,000 for every child under 6, and $3,000 for every child over 6, and $3,600 for kids under 6. So it's a little bit more for younger children, recognizing childcare costs and other things. So, sorry, go ahead.
How are we thinking that that's actually going to cut child poverty in half? I mean, it's really, I mean, that's a great claim, but I don't quite understand the huge impact it's going to have, since it's going to be done by the end of the year. And anyway, it's just a question.
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Philip, and I really appreciate it. Really, there's two things. One is your question and the sort of skepticism around that is really natural because it is a one-time thing. Families are only going to get this for this tax year. However, there is a huge push underway at the federal level to make this expanded tax credit permanent. And that would really be transformative. Then you're talking about children's lifetimes and not just, at this one really difficult point in time for families. So that is what we're hoping to see. And as far as Robin and Terry, you're looking for flyers and more details about the income levels and all that stuff. You can find all of that in that blog link in our chat. So I'm sharing that again in the chat. And yeah, as far as the flyer you can pass out, Terry, I haven't found a great one either. The only really decent one we found is actually produced by the IRS. So that's what is on our website when you go and get that link. And then Robin, as far as people who are exempt from filing taxes, I don't have the exact numbers, but I can try to find that out and send it to you. And often if people haven't filed taxes, they may have gone back to the IRS website to sign up for stimulus payments that they were eligible for. If they did that, then those families will get these payments automatically. If they didn't do that, then they still have to go to that portal and sign up. And the portal is not great. But the United Way is helping families get this money through their 211 portal. So I think that's something a lot of families are real familiar with. 211 is available in English and in Spanish by phone or on the web. So if families are trying to get it and can't make the portal work or just aren't very comfortable doing it, they can use 211 to get help and get it done. So that's 211.org, or they just call 211 on the phone. And that is included in the blog link that we are sending out as well. So hopefully that is all the info that you need in that one link to share with families. And trust me, you'll be hearing from us again about this. So we'll continue outreach about it throughout the summer. So, but it is really important. And thank you all for your questions about it. Let's see, Janice has a question. Where are we pertaining to establishing pre-K program availability to all children? That's a great question. I might see if I can put Elizabeth Byram on the spot if you're on the phone or on the call to share a quick early childhood update. Are you there, Elizabeth?
I am, and I'm happy to attempt to answer that question because we're still kind of fast and furious at both the state and federal level with lots of things moving through, lots of proposals. But if I understand your question right, Janice, you might be referring to sort of universal pre-K and some of those proposals that have come out and that we've heard a lot about at the federal level. President Biden has included a universal program for 3- and 4-year-olds as part of the American Families Act. And right now, that is sort of where the timeline's been pushed out a little bit for that getting through Congress. But we at NC Child are really going to begin to ramp up our federal advocacy to really amplify the importance of childcare because we know that we need childcare to be seen as infrastructure and need it to pass in that American Families Act. And so that's where we would see some of these really transformative proposals around universal pre-K, additional funds to support childcare in general, as well as increased compensation for early childhood educators.
Great, thank you so much, Elizabeth. All right, folks, any other questions, announcements, comments? I know this was a quick one this week. If you blinked, you missed it. So let's see. Tita has a comment about Medicaid transformation. Oh, that's great. New member orientations for Medicaid recipients related to Medicaid transformation. If you are interested in setting up an orientation, you can contact Tita. And Tita, if you want to drop your email into the chat, please feel free to share that. I know folks have lots of questions. All right, go ahead.
Yes, hi, Fawn. Just quickly, I did put my information just above. Oh, it didn't come through. Okay, I'll do it again. It didn't come through. All right, I will just put my information in there. And thank you again.
Great, thank you. I know there's lots of challenges and questions right now with transformation. So thank you for sharing those resources. All right, folks, any announcements? Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, that is the end of our legislative update. So y'all, you can expect shorter, quicker legislative updates for the rest of the summer. We're not going to be bringing in any special guests for a while, giving people the summer off on those special guests. And there's plenty of stuff going on at the legislature to keep us busy. But really appreciate all of you, and hopefully we will see you again. Adam will be here hosting the show next Friday. So thank y'all so much. Have a great week. Take care.